How you doing? Jack Angelucci here with my week 4 video response to the podcast. The more journalism and social media change, the more journalists are needed. I generally agree with the statement as well as, the role of journalists is ever expanding in the social media age. Um, and, you know, the need to be accurate in the social media age, just continues to grow more and more and more, especially with the more misinformation that's spread out there. And midway through the podcast, I talk about um, at some point it turned into the race to be first or the race to be right. And she says that luckily she thinks that some of these news outlets look themselves in the eye and we're like, okay, we need to kind of backtrack here and make sure we're getting things right. Um, First off, obviously, because morally it's important to focus on getting things right rather than trying to be first. And second of all, as she said, the second that you put out something that's wrong, people are going to abandon you and not trust you anymore. So it's really, really vital to make sure you're being accurate. Obviously, you want to be as timely as possible, but accuracy needs to be goal number one, especially in the social media age where if you're wrong, people are really going to bash you for it and they're probably not going to trust you again. And then if you're right, you're going to build up a base of people who are going to be looking for your stuff and trust what you have to say. So I think more so than ever, since news is available so widely, it's important as journalists to make sure that we're being accurate before we're being or worrying about timeliness, if you will. And that was one of my main takeaways from this is that as we get deeper and deeper into the social media age, it's actually becoming more and more important to be accurate rather than be first, even though from an outside view, you might see that as the other way around. So I guess that was my biggest takeaway from this week's video. And then the one Schoolhouse Rock video I want to talk about a little bit is the Conjunction Junction one. I think, as always, they're good refreshers, especially when it comes to writing and obviously being journalists. It's always important to sharpen your writing skills and sharpen your grammar skills. One of the ones that I always mix up or forget about is using nor instead of or. So that was a good reminder on that too, is that one kind of just seems to slip my mind often. So that was my takeaway from that. But that's what I got here for week 4. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.